Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Thank you for being here. My name is Karen Scharf. I'm the Executive Director of Citizen Action of New York. We're here today to talk about John Cahill, the Republican candidate for Attorney General, who's been an utter failure when it comes to transparency. Citizen Action has been calling on Cahill to release a list of his oil, coal, and gas industry clients for weeks now. These are clients that he lobbies for in Albany, and New Yorkers need to know how much John Cahill is profiting from the oil and gas industry. But Cahill refuses to be open and honest with New Yorkers. Cahill doesn't just lobby for big polluters, he also takes campaign cash from them. Cahill's energy consulting firm, the Pataki-Cahill Group, represents American Electric Power, which has consistently been ranked one of America's worst polluters. Cahill's also taken tens of thousands of dollars in campaign contributions from David Koch, whose Koch Industries is public enemy number one when it comes to the environment. The pollution records of both AEP and Koch are well documented. And today we're releasing an infographic that shows how bad these two companies are that are associated with Cahill. According to UMass Amherst, there's only 3 companies in the entire country that rank in the top levels on all 3 measures of pollution. And those 3 are ExxonMobil, American Electric Power, and Koch Industries. According to the NRDC, the Natural Resources Defense Council, AEP was the largest emitter of carbon pollution from power plants in the U.S. in 2012. And I want to just go over the information here. So in their report, they looked at 3 different measures: greenhouse pollution, water pollution, and air pollution. And they listed the top 100 polluters in all 3 categories. And in all 3 categories, AEP, John Cahill's client, AEP, and Koch Industries, John Cahill's contributor, David Koch, were in the top 100 in all 3, and they were 2 of the only 3 companies in the entire country that made it into this top list in all 3 categories. Greenhouse pollution, AEP is number 1 in greenhouse pollution in the entire country. Koch Industries, number 27. Water pollution, AEP, number 3. Koch Industries, number 30. Air pollution, AEP, 27. Koch Industries, 13. So in all 3 categories, they're in the top 100, and they're 2 of the only 3 companies in the entire country that make it to the top list in all 3 categories. 2 of the worst polluters in the country, and 1 is John Cahill's client, and 1 is one of his top contributors. And the thing is that he doesn't just lobby for the big polluters. John Cahill takes their campaign cash too. He got the maximum allowable contribution from David Koch, one of the worst polluters in the country. So that's why we're here today, because we think it's about time that New Yorkers had a chance to really know more about John Cahill, and that's why we want him to release his client list. We know AEP is one of his clients, but we don't know who else he's representing as an unregistered lobbyist for the oil and gas industry. And it's about time that John Cahill became really transparent with New Yorkers, who, when he's asking for votes, we have a right to know who is he representing, and if he's elected, who's he going to represent in office? Is he going to represent New Yorkers, or is he going to represent the polluters? And until he comes clean, I don't see how people can really make a decision to vote for this man who has this kind of a history. And I want to introduce Sandra, who's going to talk a little bit more about our concerns about his history on oil.
Thank you, Karen.
Closer to this.
I'd like to give each of you one of these charts, which I'll be referring to in my remarks. You go, sir? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, so, sure, okay, all right, okay. So, I'm a spokesperson, thank you very much, Karen. I'm a spokesperson for People of Albany United for Safe Energy, also known as PAWS. And I'm here today because I'm alarmed that John Cahill is running for Attorney General. The Attorney General is the people's lawyer, and as such, this official is charged with protecting public health and in the environment of New Yorkers. So PAWS is particularly concerned that the oil trains have turned Albany into a national hub for the shipments of explosive and toxic crude oil. If Mr. Cahill were elected, the environmental justice communities close to the rail tracks, who have suffered enough already, will be subject to even more toxins and chronic illness. And we know this, as Karen has just elucidated, because of Cahill's lobbying efforts on behalf of American Electric Power, one of the country's biggest polluters. And already our most vulnerable citizens are suffering from the secondhand smog of AEP's factories in the Midwest. So with Mr. Cahill as Attorney General, we could count on more pollution at a time when climate change demands that we make one of the most important transitions in human history. So for a businessman, Mr. Cahill is oddly obtuse about the economics of fracking. And I think this is particularly interesting and goes to the chart that I just gave you. You can see in that job creation chart how many more jobs would be created through renewable sources of energy compared to any of the fossil fuel industries. It's almost 3 to 1. Even if we don't consider the horrendous environmental impacts of fracking, it doesn't make economic sense to get our energy this way. And yet here's Mr. Cahill, he's still stuck in the 20th century saying, bring it on. So for the people's lawyer and the champion and protector of all you New Yorkers, especially those most vulnerable, the last person we want in this job is John Cahill. Thank you.
Thank you. The bottom line is this. New Yorkers cannot afford an unregistered lobbyist for the oil and gas industry as our chief law enforcement officer in this state. And that's exactly who John Cahill is. Until he comes clean about his ties to big oil and big gas, New Yorkers should dismiss his candidacy out of hand, just like he's dismissed our concerns about transparency. Thank you.